your marriage had a lot of different transitions at one time.
Mm-hmm.
When you got that information from that brochure and you guys talked about it, was that the way to have grace for each other and keep moving forward and kind of understand where you were at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Having the information helped us see the other person's side. That's what was good about it. Because
okay.
before, it's like, you think, when you're first married, it allows you to, how can I say it, you're kind of focused on the relationship, not each other. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I want to keep this together, but I don't know what she really is all about. I don't know all the intricacies of her. But this circumstance helps us look at each other a different way, and it can be good or bad. In this, are we weaker together or better together? You know, and it's like, that's how you learn over time. It's like when something comes in, and when we think about it, when we go through it together versus separate. You know, and I think in the very beginning we would isolate ourselves.
Yeah.
When there was a problem, we would isolate,
being a single.
and and we were secure in our singleness, but we were not secure in our marriage. So when something would happen, I would rely on myself, and I believe she relied on herself.
Yeah,
And then we began to pray and for ourselves, but not as a couple. We weren't a couple yet.
Oh, okay.
And so the more of those things that came into our marriage, we learned that we had to be a couple. And that's what I think that's what made a difference.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I think that's what happens too, though, when you're first married, is that you don't really know how to communicate, because you come from different like backgrounds and things, you know, as far as like, you know, family life and stuff like that. And one of the things that I felt that was a strain is like I always wanted him to come home for dinner.
Oh, okay.
I wanted him, you know, to sit at the table, you know, with the kids and stuff like that. But he was never there, and I was like, I don't understand that. Like, you know, when you get married, you're gonna, you know, spend time, you're gonna have dinner together and things like that. But his thing was, his work was very important. And so, you know, with a man, and when he gets married, I think that's like the, you know, his number one thing is like wanting to provide, you know, and that's the thing that it was like, I think that we struggle with, I think in our marriage, was that he was a workaholic, and I wanted him to be at home. And so I had to understand that, you know, it's not going to be like I thought it would be, you know what I'm saying? So you have to make adjustments. Even though you may want, you know, it to be a certain way, sometimes you just have to, you know, make adjustments.
That makes sense. So did you ever share with him your expectation of what you would have, that you expected him to be there for dinner, or that was important to you? Did you ever share that with him?
I believe I did, yeah.
But then through work or whatever, it wasn't, that didn't happen, or?
Yeah, I think too, it's just like, because of how I was raised.
Oh, your dad was there at dinner.
Yeah, my dad was there at dinner time. We spent time together at dinner, but then I realized that's not the way he grew up, you know. But they did that on Sunday. So that's what we would do.
Okay.
We would get together on Sunday. And so that was, you know, I guess the compromise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, what is an expectation you had, Dad, of Mom before you got married that you might not have realized that you had, that didn't happen?
That didn't happen.
As far as when you started, like when you guys were early in your marriage, had young kids, like she wanted to have dinner and be together as a family every single night. What's one of the things that you're like, that's not how I thought it would be, having a young family and being married?
You know, I think I desired those things, but I didn't realize how unprepared I was.
Oh, okay.
When I say unprepared, it's like really knowing. I'm not a planner, but Risa is. And so a lot of times I think, for lack of a better way to describe it, is I was intimidated by her strengths. And what I mean by that is, okay, let's say she's a planner and I'm not. If I couldn't be the one to go forward, that's the expectation, is thinking that you're a leader. And so if I thought, so everything had to originate from me, and that's not true in a marriage. When I realized, it's like when you're going through a marriage, over time you begin to see each other's strengths. So I learned that, man, I'm not a planner, and I'm not one that's very wise with money. So many times when the responsibility was placed on her to cover those areas, there was resentment.
Okay.
And so it's just, and again,
Resentment on your end?
no, on her
Or
side,
on your
because she
end?
felt like all the
Okay.
responsibility of the relationship was on her,
Okay.
and I wasn't sharing in it.
Oh,
My thought was,
okay.
if you're the best person to do this, I'll do what I can do best, and you do what you could do best, and we have some kind of happy medium.
Right.
But I
Did you
really
express that?
that's you said that now to me as far as being expressing it. I don't think either of us really expressed what we wanted in our
Yeah,
relationship,
communication wasn't very good.
and it was, and so that I think that creates tension and it creates division, because had she said, it's almost like I really believe in life you have to have reviews. Like at the end of the year, you should stop and look back and say, you know what did we do this year? And we just went from year to year to year to year. We compiled a lot of mess on top of each other each year, never correcting the past. And so if you have 30 years of mess, or 15 years of mess, or 10 years, or 5 years of mess, when I say mess, brokenness, unforgiveness, all that piled up, and then eventually there's going to be a break. Not everything can bear weight.
Right.
A marriage is not designed to bear the weight of many years. That's why you have breakups. But if this year we sit and say, okay, this was what this year was about. Mistakes I made, mistakes you may have made. How do we correct it? And then we go into the next year with the knowledge of the past.
Right.
We went into each year with the burdens of the past.
Wow.
And so when you go over a period of time, the burdens can bear, they will show themselves either in resentment, in anger, unfulfilled desires, expectations, so many things, and not learning from your past.
Right.
And and the best way in a marriage to learn from your past is to talk about what you did last year. And I can't really recall many times when we sat and said, what did we just go through? It's like everything took us as a whirlwind. And we were unprepared a lot of times. Even if people were on the outside talking to us, we really couldn't hear because we hadn't worked through things.
Right.
So
Wow.
communication makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think if anything is communication. You need to communicate before you get married about, just your family, what things you like, what things you don't like, skeletons in the closet,
Right,
so you can know, this is what you're gonna, this is me,
Right.
this is all of me. And so if you don't, share those things, and then I think sometimes, I think, what's that saying, that love is blind? I think God does actually blind you to some things in your spouse, because those are the things that you don't see, that God kind of like has you examine your own heart. You know what I'm saying? It's like it makes you like really examine yourself. Why do I think like this? Because something in this person maybe trigger something in your own heart, and you said, and you didn't even know it was there, and then it's like, oh my God, where did this come from?
Wow.
But that's why God does that. It's like I'm gonna show you what I want to show you about this person. You're gonna know what I want you to know about this person. But then when you come together, then it's gonna you're really gonna see, And I think you bring out you bring out the worst, and I think you bring out the best in each other.
Right.
Because there's something in each of us that we need to work through, and marriage does that. It helps you to work through things in your own heart, and your spouse will help you to go through, those things. And when I think about Eric, he has, our relationship has, his love for me has caused me to blossom. I remember talking about me being like a rose, like, shut up, was closed up, but, his love has like caused me to blossom into, a bloom. And so that's what marriage should do. It should bring out the best in each of you.
Yes, I agree. So this conversation is amazing, and we're definitely gonna have to do this again and keep talking about the different stages. I don't think we could do this all at one time, especially 30 years. But thank you both so much. I really appreciate. I've learned a whole lot actually. I've actually actually learned so much, and I hope it helps other people. But we will definitely like get back together and do this again because it's really important, and I think it'll really help a lot of people. Thank you. I love you. Yes. Oh.